One of the best vampire films ever made. Lost Boys. This film, what a film. This is brilliant. This is 80s gold. This is hands down 90% of people's favourite vampire movies. This is a great film. It's about this guy David, played by Kiefer Sutherland, and him and his friends, they just like roam the boardwalk of a coastal California town. It's like a town with like a fun fair and all that sort of stuff going on, and they roam there causing trouble, riding their motorbikes and all that kind of stuff. And two brothers and their mum moved to the town, and the older brother, I can't remember what's his name, the older brother's name. It's played by Jason Patric. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but it's him and Corey Haim as well. They play two brothers who just moved to the town with their mum. Michael, that's his name, Michael, sorry. And he meets Star and falls for Star, and Star's with David. And basically it turns out that David and his friends are all vampires, and they try to like rope Michael into being one of them, and it's all about like him sort of fighting against his own demons about becoming a vampire, and then him like looking after his family and his young brother, and like the fun sort of crazy adventures they get into with these two kids called the Frog Brothers as well. But yeah, I don't want to, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much away about it, because it's a really good film if you haven't seen it. At some point I'd like to do like an in-depth review about this one, but yeah, Lost Boys, amazing film. Fucking hell, dirty that one. Tango and Cash. Can't go wrong with a bit of Tango and Cash. Kurt Russell and Stallone, they were just made to work together in this movie. They were fucking unbelievably cool in these movies together. It's like, it was when it was like the buddy cop boom. So basically Sylvester Stallone is like the hotshot top cop in his Armani suits and all that. He's always in the paper for like mad drug busts and that. And Kurt Russell's like the down and dirty cop, even though he gets equally as good busts. But yeah, they have to team up together and work against Jack Palance and some other baddies and bring down a drug ring. But they just like constantly like ripping each other. They start off where they don't like each other, and they have to sort of build up a friendship, and by the end they're just fucking working together, kicking ass all over the city. But yeah, Tango and Cash, great film. Next, Wes Craven's Vampire in Brooklyn. This is a class film. Eddie Murphy's in it at his top of his game in this one. Even though there's one thing I didn't really like his like Caribbean accent in it, but obviously he comes from the Caribbean in the movie, so it's part of it. But yeah, it's really good. It's surprisingly gruesome as well. There's some like quite dark violence in it as well. It's made by Wes Craven, so there's some pretty bloody horror in it. Angela Bassett's good in it as well. It's funny as well. There's like there's a lot of humour in it. It reminds me of the sort of humour that you'd see in like I don't know, like Trading Places or something like that, some of his earlier work. Not so much Beverly Hills Cop. But yeah, maybe Coming to America, that type of comedy. But yeah, definitely one worth checking out. It was on Netflix last time I checked. But it's a funny film, good vampire film. Now this one was fucking hard to get when you were a kid. It's hard to get now. Dolph Lundgren's Dark Angel. This is, well, my mate used to love this movie when he was a kid. You should check out his channel. His channel's Paul Tams. I'll put a link in the description below, and you can go and check out his channel. He's doing all kinds of reviews, top 10s, all good stuff over there. Really cool guy. Go check him out, go and support his channel. But yeah, this is one of the movies that he loved when he was younger. So he'll laugh when he sees this one. Yeah. Dark Angel. Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx. This is a quality film, this is. Basically, he's a Hong Kong cop who like moves to New York, and this was one of his like mainstream Western action movies. It's got some of his best stunts and his best action in it. It's a quality martial arts movie. I've not seen it for a long time, to be fair, but there's a hell of a lot of good action in this. It's one of the first films that I saw of Jackie Chan's where he has like you know, all the outtakes at the end. I really enjoyed all that. I didn't get onto Jackie Chan until a bit later, to be fair. But yeah, this is a really cool movie, Jackie Chan's. This is one of my favourite movies, this. Gangs of New York, Martin Scorsese, Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio and Cameron Diaz. This film is a fantastic film if you've never seen it. It's a great, great film. I think it's set at the end of the 18th century and maybe the beginning of the 19th century, but it's about warring gangs in New York and a battle for a place called the 5 Points, led by Bill the Butcher. He's the main gangster of the towns, and that's played by Daniel Day-Lewis, and he is a ruthless bastard in this film. You know, he's killing people left, right, centre. Anyone he wants dead, he's killing them. He's not bothered about anything. He's just a real bad guy, but someone you just want to see on screen. Like, every time he's on screen, you're just like fixated on the movie. You're like, this guy is cool. He's a badass, and his lines in it are well good. Like, there's a bit at the start where he like turns up for a scrap, and the other guys who are like fighting him, they turn up as well, and he just turns around out of nowhere and he goes, "I told you to bring me warriors. You bring me a handful of ragtags and a few crusty bitches." And like, everyone just erupts laughing. But he's really funny, but he's really dark. He's got like a really dark sense of humour in it. Some of his monologues in it are really good as well, but I'd highly recommend this movie. Basically, he takes Leonardo DiCaprio under his wing, and Daniel Day-Lewis kills Leonardo DiCaprio's father at the start. It's not really a spoiler because it's in the first like couple of minutes of the movie. So basically, he gets Leonardo DiCaprio when he's a kid and says to the law, he says, just send him into the system, put him in the system. And Leonardo DiCaprio grows up with revenge on his mind. But he he tries to like infiltrate their gang and become part of Daniel Day-Lewis's gang to get in there to kill Daniel Day-Lewis. But Daniel Day-Lewis sort of takes him under his wing, and there's a line in it where it says like, under the dragon's wing is warmer than you might think, so he gets sort of drawn into him. But yeah, fantastic film. Highly recommend that if you've never seen it. Check it out. Gremlins 2, the new batch. Not as good as the first one, but it's more Gremlins fun, to be fair. Just enjoyed this one when I was a kid. I only really wanted this one. It cost me 50p and I just wanted it to go next to the other one. But yeah, it's a bit of fun. Nothing too great. Gremlins 2. Not much to say about that one, really. First one's much better. Ah, this is cool. This is in a Channel 5 box as well. Look at this one here. American Werewolf in London. This is an old case as well. But yeah, this is a great film. Some of the FX on this are absolutely amazing. 1982, American Werewolf in London, basically about these two friends who go backpacking on the moors, and they both get attacked, and one of them gets killed, and the other guy wakes up in hospital. I think his name's David in this one as well, and he slowly starts feeling a little bit unwell, and over time, worse and worse, and when that full moon hits, damn, those FX for back in the day, they look phenomenal. Like, even now, it's like brilliant. I've just actually ordered the special limited edition version of this on the Steelbook Blu-ray, and it looks amazing. It comes with all kinds of goodies and that. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out as well, what you've been waiting for, get on it. Right, I'll do these two together. So, this is probably one of my all-time favourite horror movies and my favourite serial killer book or movie, and that's Silence of the Lambs. This is an absolutely fantastic movie. If you've never seen this movie and you like serial killers or anything like that, this is a movie you want to check out. This is the best serial killer movie that there is. No debating that. It is. It's basically about this young girl called Clarice Starling, and she's just like an up-and-comer in the academy, but she's showing a lot of promise. So she gets sort of given a task by Jack Crawford, who's like the special forensics investigative team leader. So he sends her in to interview a serial killer called Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, basically just to get an insight into an active serial killer. So Anthony Hopkins is Dr. Lecter, Hannibal Lecter, is in prison. So she goes and interviews him in prison because there's an active serial killer called Buffalo Bill out, and they really want to try and get some insight or some ideas, or just to see if he knows who he is. So they send her in there, and she develops this strange bond with her, and he takes a real shine to her as well. They really like sort of, it's a really weird relationship that they've got. But yeah, he starts helping her, and she starts learning and starts like investigating and getting deeper and deeper involved into this case. And it is just nail biting stuff. Like, Buffalo Bill is a savage in it. He's a horrible serial killer, and seeing her track him down and what happens is amazing. It's hard not to spoil it. You know, I don't want to spoil this movie. This is a movie that you want to go in knowing as little about as possible if you can. So yeah, Silence of the Lambs. At some point I will do a proper in-depth review of this when I get all up and operational and all sorted and that. But yeah, highly recommend this movie. Anybody's into serial killer stuff, you've been watching any of the Netflix documentaries, anything like that, get on this movie. Right, so basically this movie here called Manhunter is the original. So basically Thomas Harris writes the Silence of the Lambs, and he wrote a book called Red Dragon, which has also been made into like a modern movie, which is sort of a prequel to Silence of the Lambs. But Red Dragon is actually the original one, and this contains the original Hannibal Lecter, who was played by Brian Cox, and this is up there with this. This is my favourite, but this is close. This is quite under the radar. Not that many people have seen this movie, but this movie is phenomenal. Basically, I'll just read the back now to give you a quick overlook of the synopsis. So basically, FBI agent Will Graham has captured the diabolical Dr. Hannibal Lecter, nearly losing more than just his mind in the process. But when Graham is called out of retirement to hunt the psychopath known as the Tooth Fairy, he must once again confront the horrors of Hannibal the Cannibal. If Will Graham enters the mind of the serial killer, can he ever come back? So yeah, basically, so he captured Hannibal Lecter and put him in prison. So it's quite similar setup to this one, but he's in retirement. He gets really injured in the line of duty, so he's in retirement in like Barbados with his family. And there's another serial killer coming out, and another cop, one of his partners from back in the day, he comes out to request the help of him. He's like, you know, this guy's killing people. We need you to come out of retirement, just have a look at the case and give us an insight into what you think is going on. And then basically, because of his nature, the case takes over him, and he feels like he has to help save people. You know, like this guy is targeting families with like children and all that. You know, it's quite the themes are very strong. You know, I'm not gonna like lie to you. Some of this is quite heavy going. You know, I don't think you don't see children being harmed in it, but the death of children is, you know, the MO of the serial killer in this movie. He basically breaks into people's homes and like kills the entire family, and he's a real strange, vicious serial killer. But yeah, so watching Will Graham track him down and hunt him out is really good. This is a really great film. I think it's on Sky Store. It's called Manhunter, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's by Michael Mann as well. So this is essentially like a prequel to Silence of the Lambs, if you like, sort of like an indirect prequel, because the original Hannibal Lecter is Brian Cox. So basically, Will Graham has caught Hannibal, had him in prison, and then this is taking place, this movie, and then a couple of years later, she goes to visit him in prison in this one and gets all the insights from him there, but he's just played by a different actor, obviously. But yeah, two fantastic movies there. Highly recommend those movies. Let's have a look what else we've got here. Cool. So basically, I've got the old original version of Blade Runner. This is a really cool movie. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a great movie. The sequel that recently came out, I'm not sure if it is a sequel. Just comment below and let me know if it is a sequel. Is it an indirect sequel, or is it? It's not a reboot. I know that one. But Ridley Scott's Blade Runner's quality. Harrison Ford, amazing in this movie. Check out that case, guys. Fantastic stuff. I'll read the back of this one for you as well. Los Angeles, the year 2020. Huge neon advertisements illuminate the night sky above the towering skyscrapers. The interiors, however, are murky and dark, the oppressive gloom occasionally relieved by beams of light from a roving spotlight. The majority of Earth's population has left for outer space, with only the misfits and the decadent sophisticates left behind to populate the planet. Infiltrating this strange derelict society are 4 replicants, laboratory created creatures who are practically indistinguishable from humans, whose job it is to perform menial tasks in outer space and who are forbidden on pain and destruction to set foot on Earth. These replicants have hijacked a space shuttle by killing its crew and are now in Los Angeles, passing themselves off as humans. It's up to super cop Harrison Ford to seek them out and eliminate them before they can eliminate him. So Harrison Ford is Blade Runner. But yeah, this is a really cool sci-fi movie, really in-depth, really thought-provoking. This would be nice for a review. There's multiple versions. I think there's like 8 or 9 different cuts of this movie. So I'm presuming this is just the theatrical cut. This is running in at 112 minutes. But yeah, I'm want to get this on 4K and then maybe do a review of it then. This is, you want to have multiple watches of this just to take it all in. It's not something you can just sort of like review off on the fly. A little bit of thought would need to go into this one. But yeah, if you enjoy sci-fi and you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend it. Alien Resurrection gets a lot of hate. I like it. I like it for what it is. It brought a bit of the horror, a bit of the action back. Sigourney Weaver's back. She sold the movie, basically, so they had to bring her back. It's just a convoluted story about how they brought her back, but who cares? It's just good to see her killing aliens. Basically, I've got all the other Alien VHSs up here, so I needed this one to complete the set. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's definitely worth your time. It's a good movie. Don't be expecting anything groundbreaking, because it's not. But if you like aliens, it's got some of the best looking aliens in it as well. There's this big, huge white alien in it, which is like almost like the king. There's a queen alien in it, and this hybrid thing that's just lethal. But yeah, worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Excuse me. Blade, so what a film. I remember this movie when my dad was alive, when I was a little kid. I was probably about 13. He was like, oh, we're trying to go out to the supermarket with me, we're going to do a few bits and that. So we started driving down towards Sealand Road, and I was like, oh, why are we going to Sealand Road? Because we didn't live anywhere near there at the time. And we pulled into outside the cinema, and he was just like smiling at me, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? So he goes, go in and go and pick some sweets and that, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. So we went in, got some sweets, blah, 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 and then he come up to me and he was like, we're going in here. So I was like, right, okay, what are we watching? And he was like, oh, it's a surprise. So I didn't have a clue what I was watching. I was probably 13 and this film was an 18 certificate, so my dad had basically like snuck me in there. And then, I was just sitting in there and he was just like smirking the whole time. And then the next thing you know, this comes on and I was just like absolutely blown away. It's before the time of YouTube, so you weren't seeing trailers every 5 seconds on it. You may see the odd trailer on the TV, or you'd see like the trailer for it before a movie that you rented from Blockbuster. But I went in there and it was amazing. I remember it was one of the single best cinema experiences of my life, because it was a big surprise. It was just great. I was just like soaking it in. It was like ultra violent at the time for me, action packed. It was just martial arts extravaganza. At the time, that's what I thought it was like. There was people getting chopped up left, right and centre. Wesley Snipes is kicking all kinds of ass. It was just great, and it was just a really nice like little surprise for my dad to do for me, and he knew how much I'd like it, and it was a really nice thing. It's a nice memory to have of him as well. I always think of that when I think of this movie, so it holds a little special place in my heart, But yeah, it's an all-round, it's a really good sequel. It just basically takes the first movie up to like 10, ramps it up, hits it hard, and yeah, a really good movie. Really enjoy it. Last one. I think it's the last one. Yeah. Excuse me, we're so dusty in here. Universal Soldier. Absolutely love this film. This is probably my favourite Dolph Lundgren film. When I was a kid, I loved Van Damme in this movie, but as I'm older, I prefer Dolph Lundgren, because you can just see that Dolph Lundgren is having an absolute blast being the bad guy in this movie. He just soaks it up. He just lavishes being the bad guy. He's ramped to 10. He's cracking out lines left, right and centre. He's beating up anyone he sees. He's just a total badass in this movie. As I've got older as well, you see like, Van Damme's pretty wooden in this movie. He's very like one-dimensional. He's not that great. Obviously as a kid, it was Van Damme was the hero, but as you get older, you get to sort of, Van Damme's lines are pretty limited in this movie. There's a good bit where he's getting his ass kicked and then he finally manages to get the syringe off Dolph Lundgren and like injects himself on the sly. Dolph Lundgren's like beating him up, and then he obviously gets like the rush of adrenaline and the strength from the serum, and then he goes on to kick the shit out of Dolph Lundgren. Now that bit's cool. The fight scenes with Van Damme are good. There's a good bit where he has to like save the woman, like he's running through walls. That's pretty sick. But Dolph Lundgren for me in this film is quality. Shoot her in the hair. He's just having a blast. He's just having a good time all the time. He's just bringing like the fun to this movie, even though he's a bad villain. I mean, he's so cartoony. He's like walking around with fucking people's ears on a chain around his neck, throwing grenades left, right and centre, just kicking all kinds of ass. Basically, they were both soldiers in the Vietnam War, and Dolph Lundgren was the captain, if you like, or the team leader. I'm not sure the actual terminologies, the colonel maybe. And his head goes fully fucking mental in Vietnam. And Van Damme's like whole team are dead. They're all dead. And he goes in and they're saying like, there's people running away saying the sergeant. The Sarge has fucking lost it. He's killed everyone. So when he goes, he's got these 2 Vietnamese people hostage, and he's cut all the ears off these others, and he's making a necklace out of them. And he's just gone. He thinks, I can't imagine what it's like to be in that sort of scenario, but it happens to people. Their mind goes. So basically they end up killing each other at the start, and then there's this new program that they're doing where they take freshly dead soldiers and like they do something to them that like reanimates them and then brings them back as like a super soldier. But they're like sort of, they use like a police force, like a force, like at the start there's like a terrorist situation, and they send these new soldiers in to get the job done quickly, efficiently, blah blah blah, in and out. They're the new best thing. If there's a problem, send these guys in. They're swimming, like they get dropped off out of a helicopter like 5 miles away, and they swim it in like 8 minutes or something like that. They're just super soldiers basically. And so Van Damme starts of having like visions of like his farm life and his like parents and all that kind of stuff, and he's confused and he wants to go home and stuff like that. But Dolph Lundgren's having like flashbacks of like all the evil shit in Vietnam, and that's coming to the forefront of his mind. So he still thinks he's in Vietnam. He still thinks he's just crazy. He snaps out of his sort of like, it's almost like they keep him like sedated where they can sort of tell him what to do, but they soon snap out of that. Like Van Damme comes out of his, and Dolph Lundgren snaps out of his, and then he just goes mad, starts running the show, kills everyone, and he just wants to hunt down Van Damme. Then he's got it in his head that he killed him back in Nam. He's coming for him. He's gonna get him, and then it's all the action that ensues from there. But yeah, really good movie. Classic 80s Van Damme movie, this. Like I said, I loved Van Damme in it when I was a kid, but I much prefer Dolph Lundgren in it right now. So yeah, that's the haul from this week. Pretty fucking dusty haul, man. Coughing my tits up. But yeah, thanks very much for joining me. Sorry, it's a bit long-winded one. That's quite a big haul, that was, to be fair. But yeah, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Hit the buttons, and I'll bring you some more content soon. Thank you very much for joining me, and take it easy. Have a good day, guys. Bye.